Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see here on Watchbox Reviews. Reach out to me at tmosso@thewatchbox.com. And today we're discussing a model launched in 2012. This is the Panerai Radiomir California 3 Days PAM00424. And you know this because it says PAM00424 right between the lugs. Moreover, it says California just above the dial on the inner bezel. This is a timepiece that is a wire-style Radiomir modeled after the 1930s and 1940s, early 1940s, 3646 combat watch. The timepiece is 47 millimeters in stainless steel by 16.1 millimeters thick, which you can see to good effect right there on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist. 47 millimeters, but it wears more like a cushion or a square than a conventional watch. The lugs are barely there, and if you were to measure them edge to edge, they're about 55 millimeters, and though it's not conventional, the strap size is 27 millimeters. And of course, if you wish to remove your Panerai strap, you Paneristi already know how to do this, but it is not a fixed wire lug system. These two retaining screws on each side release the wire style lugs, and they're actually tubes that snap together in the center, so you pull them out after removing the screws and you easily change the strap. As you can see, the timepiece featuring a very dark brown semi-gloss alligator leather strap with a contrasting stitch, large rectangular scale. There is a folded edge profile, and then on the underside calfskin. This watch is designed to be an upscale Panerai model. Slight dress orientation, though still 100 meters water resistant. That accounts for the use of the alligator leather rather than conventional calf. High polished stainless steel pin buckle. Let's take a look at it one more time on my wrist. The watch I recommend for wrists no smaller than 15 centimeters in circumference. It'll fit on a smaller wrist, but it might look ungainly huge. And as you can see, it'll fit underneath a jacket cuff, just not the tightest of dress sleeves. The case form is going to be familiar to Panerai guys. As you can see, the Radiomir traditionally has always been a little bit more curvaceous and complex, especially compared to the Betterini Luminors. The timepiece has a combination of creases and curves that work well, and then you have that 1970s style OP logo inside of the crown as well as on the dial side. So you have this California dial, as it's known, with the Romans on the top and the Arabic numerals on the bottom, and the hands in lovely rose gold with a golden chapter ring outboard. It is a Luminova dial. We will have a lume shot in just a moment. As you can see, everything is high polish, and the crystal, which here is sapphire, has a dramatic domed camber to evoke the distortion you would have seen on a vintage plexiglass, so you get the advantages of both the charm of the plexiglass and the scratch resistance of the sapphire. The case has a very narrow polished conical bezel profile and then a screw down crown with a lovely diamond style flare and fluting that emulates the oyster crowns used in the original Panerai 3646, which would have had oyster cases and oyster crowns made by Rolex. Today, Panerai, of course, making these components itself. The dial is somewhere between tobacco and black. It does seem to have brown undertones, and those complement the golden hands, chapter ring, and ecru style lume quite well. Turn the watch over and you have Panerai manufacture caliber P3000. This is a movement that is broad, properly sized for the case. Panerai, evoking the vintage Angelus SF240 movements as well as the Rolex Codebert pocket watch calibers that would have originally been used in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, more Rolex early on, later Angelus, and you have that longitudinal satin finish you would have seen. You have two bridges that are designed to be read as one, as a 3/4 style bridge, another pocket watch reference. The watch beaten away at 21,600 vibrations per hour with a full balance bridge and a free sprung index for shock resistance. The watch avoids shock-induced timing deviation by means of a huge balance with a lot of inertia. Twin mainspring barrels, 72-hour power reserve, all pivoting on 21 joules. You can see the screw heads are all black polished. There is a machined bevel on the edge of the bridges and an engine-turned perlage on the base plate with satin on the individual wheels. Now, while the watch does not feature stop seconds, it does feature a nifty time zone function that allows you to adjust the hour hand independently of the minute. So if you are traveling, you can quickly update the time on your watch, push the crown back down, screw it back in, and you have that 100-meter water resistance. This is a timepiece that gives you vintage flair with modern fit, finish, and materials. An oversized modern sports watch that pays deference and reference to real history. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. The Panerai Radiomir California by night